Hey! Hi! How you doing? This is Ryan, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. So November has come and gone, and we are nearing the end of the year 2019. And Doom Eternal was not released as it was originally prophesized, delayed until March 2020. You all already know this, so I don't know why I'm repeating this information. And I'm also sure most of you are aware that I am a massive, I cannot emphasize this enough, massive Doom fanboy. Doom Eternal is my most anticipated video game of all time. I've made this abundantly clear, so just keep that personal bias in mind. Because I want to talk about some of the apprehension and reservations starting to drum up for Doom Eternal. Now don't get me wrong, everything is deserving and available for criticism, but context is paramount. So let's explore some of that, shall we? You see, I have total faith in the id Software team developing Doom Eternal. I think they have an instant classic on their hands, an instant Game of the Year contender on their hands. But again, heavily biased. Take everything I say with a pinch of salt. But still though, for anybody who has these concerns about Doom Eternal, just consider this. So now, let's address the obvious elephant in the room. Bethesda. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried about how they're gonna fuck with the game too. The actions they've taken as a company throughout the entire year of 2019 have just been absolutely embarrassing and wholly anti-consumer. So yeah, I'll say right off the bat, I'm worried about what shenanigans Bethesda are gonna pull. I have no doubt in my mind, id Software have done the best job they could possibly do. I have no doubt that id Software have put their blood, tears, heart, and soul into making this game. I have no doubt that Doom Eternal itself as a game is going to absolutely kick ass. But oh Bethesda, what are they gonna do? Can they keep their grimy hands off it and just not interfere with the development process? Please, for the love of God, don't interfere with the development process. Keep in mind, however, I'm not worried for Doom Eternal itself, because even if there is some meddling by Bethesda, I have total confidence in id Software that they have made a great game that I will love and enjoy. You see, I'm not worried about the game itself when it comes to Bethesda, I'm worried about the game's reputation online, because you and I both know how the gaming community works. They take one thing they don't like about a game or something controversial and dramatic, hyper-focus on that one thing and blow it out of proportion, and before you know it, everyone's saying that Doom Eternal's a shit game because of this one little thing that doesn't actually affect the gameplay. I just don't want to go through that whole song and dance again. Yes, I know, first world problems. But still, nonetheless, elephant in the room to address. Now, outside of Bethesda being Bethesda, what about people's concerns about the actual game itself? Let's start with some of the most obvious and repeated ones. The lack of snap map in Doom Eternal. Look, I love snap map from Doom 2016. Would I like it back in Eternal? Absolutely. But consider the actual objective numbers here for a moment. Consider the actual popularity of the feature. Yes, snap map has a small, dedicated community, but are those numbers enough to justify the cost and development time in designing SnapMap 2.0 for Eternal? As much as I wished SnapMap reached the same heights and popularity as Halo's Forge mode, we have to consider that perhaps there just isn't a high enough demand for it to justify the cost. Say for example, id Software took all the criticisms to heart that SnapMap received. Say they make SnapMap 2.0, it's better than the original in every way, it's great, it's fantastic, but no one uses it. Sure, yeah, this game has an awesome additional feature with tons of content, but if barely anyone uses it or plays it, well, that was a waste of resources and time. Seriously, think about this. Would you want the money and resources spent on making SnapMap 2.0 to go to developing this feature and content that barely anyone will interact with, or invest that money and time into improving and expanding the single-player campaign? Let's all be honest with ourselves here. Doom 2016's campaign was the highlight of the game. It was the main selling point, the reason everyone played and loved Doom 2016. Pardon me, correction. The majority of people. Yes, there are dedicated communities to the Doom 2016 multiplayer and Snap Map. I know, I've met them, I've played with them, they're awesome folks. But I honestly don't believe that they're a large enough demographic to justify diverting all that money, time, and resources to cater to. We gotta look at this from a business perspective. This is a massive AAA budget game. They need to turn a profit, so they are betting all their money on the single player campaign, which makes sense since the campaign was the most popular aspect of the previous game. And I'm sorry to say, but if you're asking me to choose between getting a better single player campaign or more Snap Map, I'm gonna pick the better single player campaign. Would I prefer to have both? Absolutely, but in this case of one or the other, I'm gonna go with the campaign. Every time. I understand the concern of that there being a lack of Snap Map somehow meaning that Eternal has less content than 2016. But all the facts presented so far paint a picture of a new single player campaign that's bigger, beefier, more in-depth, more dynamic, more replayable than ever. So while Snap Map may be missed, I believe that the new campaign will make up for it. Up next, let's address how Doom Eternal's multiplayer only consists of battle mode and invasions. Look, I get it. I really do. I understand the desire to have classic arena deathmatch in Doom. But once again, I'm sorry. We gotta look at this from a businessman point of view and look at the numbers. Look at Doom 2016's multiplayer, look at Quake Champions, look at all the indie arena shooter multiplayer games that tried to revitalize the genre. Classic arena multiplayer shooters just don't have the same appeal they used to. Outside of elder millennials and boomers, the vast majority of people just don't care for the genre. It's a niche genre of shooter, a niche genre of multiplayer. I wish that wasn't the case, but those are the facts, man. And just like with what we addressed with Snap Map, it doesn't make sense to invest time and resources into making a mode that barely anyone's gonna play. Again, let's say id Software addressed all the criticism that Doom 2016's multiplayer received. They made Multiplayer Deathmatch 2.0, it's populated for a month, maybe two, then Ghost Town. If you're a developer, a manager, a CEO of a company, are you gonna make that investment? Would you make that investment to please a niche audience? No, you wouldn't. You have employees to pay. Now don't get me wrong, battle mode is new and experimental and certainly comes with risk, but it's a better bet to try and innovate with something that has the possibility of catching on and attracting audiences old and new, rather than investing in something that has a higher probability, a more likely probability of failing and not being popular. Don't get me wrong, this situation sucks. I genuinely do really like old school arena multiplayer shooters. I love Unreal Tournament. I really like Quake Champions. I've enjoyed several indie games that have tried to recapture the magic of old school arena multiplayer shooters, but we just have to accept the facts that this is a very niche audience, a very niche community, and it's very hard to justify the financial investment in appeasing them. Do I wish more people liked old school classic arena multiplayer shooters? Yes, absolutely, but this is just the way things are. We have to accept reality. The modern shooter, the battle royale, the asymmetrical PvP, they are the top dogs right now. They are king. id Software creating battle mode for the PvP multiplayer of Doom Eternal makes sense. It just makes sense. What are the two main attractions of Doom? Doom Guy and the demons. So why not focus the multiplayer around the two main attractions? It just makes sense. It's a safer investment, and it gives id Software the opportunity to get creative. With all these different demon characters to play as, just imagine the unique strategies and combinations and replayability and dynamic player-on-player moments that can occur. Do I wish we had classic arena deathmatch in Doom Eternal? Yeah, I do, of course. But does it make sense from a businessman perspective to spend the money and time? No, unfortunately, it does not. I say let's all give battle mode a chance, everyone. Also, there's a much higher likelihood of the battle mode player base not dying out, given that matches only require free players. So even if it's a low player count, a low player base, all you need is free players to get into a match. So it's almost guaranteed years from now that you'll be able to engage in Doom Eternal's battle mode PvP multiplayer. Again, just something else to consider. And now we come to the most, let's say, depressing group of people levying criticism towards Doom Eternal. The people criticizing Doom Eternal for not being old school Doom enough. They're not pleased that Doom Eternal is doubling down on the advanced movement system with the dashing and grappling hook and mantling, swinging on poles, climbing on walls. And they're not happy with the doubling down on the glory kill system with the addition of demon dismemberment and demon weak spots to exploit. These people wish and want that Doom Eternal played like old school classic Doom, original Doom 1 and Doom 2. I'm just going to be blunt and mean about this. Your demands are irrational and petty. You can't possibly expect id Software to regress to an old school classic gameplay style that removes mechanics that people loved, that millions, literally millions of people loved about Doom 2016. You can't possibly expect the developers to remove or downgrade popular mechanics. id Software is doing the logical, rational thing and improving and upgrading and adding on to these mechanics. The vast majority of people loved glory kills in 2016. The vast majority of people enjoyed the movement system of 2016. It's not in any way a reasonable expectation that the sequel de-emphasize these things. In no way am I denouncing your personal preferences. By all means, enjoy what you enjoy, but come on guys, you gotta be realistic here. You're adults now. Think like adults, act like adults. Come on guys. It's not the 90s anymore. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's not the 90s anymore. If you want more retro, classic, old school first-person single-player shooters, look to the indie market. They are swarming with new classics, inspired by old school Doom, Quake, Unreal Tournament, Duke Nukem. If you want that old school classic shooter itch, may I recommend Dusk, a Medieval, Ion Fury. Also, keep your eyes open. There are several other awesome indie old school retro shooters coming out next year in 2020. If Doom Eternal's not going to be your cup of tea, there are other fish in the sea. There's no reason to lambast the game and its creators for doing the reasonable thing in their positions as developers, which is to expand upon what was popular about their previous game to make their new game sell well. Sorry to say, that's just the reality of the situation, but you have alternatives to scratch that itch. Seek them out. And so, that is that. That is all of the concerns and criticisms about Doom Eternal and its upcoming launch addressed from the perspective of an incredibly biased Doom fanboy. I hope you all understand my reasoning and perspective as presented in this video. I hope you enjoyed the video overall. I'm genuinely really curious to hear your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section down below, so please leave a comment. If you like the video, then please, of course, hit the like button to help support the video. Sharing it on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit is also a big deal, helps a lot. And if you want to keep me doing what I'm doing and keep the channel going, well, there's always the ability to support me via Patreon. Anyways, that's been a video, and I'll see you all later.